So we just figured, what the heck? 5 of us in a tow strap, we can get that out of there. I go, so we just hooked the tow strap and yanked it out. And he goes, no way. And I go, yeah, go look. I've got 5 brothers and a bunch of friends. And for a period of about 10 or 15 years, my brothers and I and our friends would go mountain biking in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan near a town called Copper Harbor. Out in the middle of nowhere, there's logging roads out there. Copper Harbor's a neat little town, but right outside of town there's just logging roads and forest. And you go mountain biking for days, and just, have a blast. And literally go for hours and not see a vehicle out on these logging roads. We're on mountain bikes and we're, grown men, but we're goofing off, just out in the woods. You can scream and yell and have all the fun you want. So we're out riding along one day, and it's about noon, and it's a weekday, and we come around a curve, and we see a Jeep down in a ditch. Now, the road is here, it's a logging road, and there's a ditch right here, and the Jeep is down in the ditch, nose down in the ditch. And we all stop, we're looking around, and we'd been on this road recently, and we didn't think we would miss the Jeep, so the Jeep, we think, got deposited recently. And we look and we realize that you can see skid marks, and there's a small tree that got knocked over, and there's a windshield laying over here, which is apparently from the Jeep. And as we piece this together, because it's got nothing better to do, somebody was coming around this curve on a dirt road really, really late at night in a Jeep, lost control, ran over the little tree, and this thing rolled at least once, ejected the windshield, and then wound up in a ditch. So the first thing we're looking for bodies. We're looking around to see if whoever was in the Jeep got injured. And we're looking around, there's nothing. There's no blood or anything. We're like, what happened here? And we're like 5 miles outside of town. This is just, out in the middle of nowhere. And so we're looking at this Jeep in the ditch. And we've decided that the guy who was in the Jeep must have gotten out and walked back into town. But we're sitting scratching our heads. And I've got an older brother who's an engineer who actually owned a Jeep. And he had an old Jeep that had all kinds of work done on it. And he's looking at this Jeep and he goes, I could have gotten this out of here. And we're like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, look, you can see there was the guy had been spinning his tires trying to back the Jeep out of there. And we go, okay. And he goes, the front hubs are unlocked. The guy didn't lock his front hubs. And we're looking at this and I'm going, but you understand that Jeep is more vertical than it is horizontal. That Jeep's not coming out of there under its own power. My brother goes, no, it would. It would. He goes, if you knew what you're doing, you could get that Jeep out of there. And we just start ripping on him. We're like, dude, there's no way. You're out of your mind. Now, he's the oldest brother of all of us. So, he's had this good-natured ribbing his entire life. But he was insistent. He goes, if I had the keys, I could get that out of there. Another member of our group goes, keys? You don't need keys for a Jeep that's got the ignition in the dashboard. And really. And there's also a tow strap in the back of the Jeep. It was laying on the floor of the Jeep. So it's just 5 guys on mountain bikes, a Jeep in the ditch, and a tow strap. And a member of the party says, hang on a second, and climbs in the, now remember he's like this because the dashboard's down here and he's playing with it. And he goes, hang on a second. And all of a sudden the Jeep is turning over. It's cranking, but it won't start. And we're all kind of like, how'd you get that to happen? But my other brother goes, I wonder if the guy, before he left the Jeep, disabled it so that somebody couldn't come by and hotwire it. So we pop the hood, and sure enough, the coil's been disconnected. Reconnect the coil, try it now, boom, fires right up. So my brother goes, lock up the front hubs, locked up the hub, locked up the hub. My other brother, who thinks he's better with clutches, pushes the guy out of the driver's seat. He goes, let me drive. So remember, he's sitting in a wheel like this, facing down. We hook the tow strap up to the back, and all of us are pulling on the tow strap. And my brother's driving, and he has it in reverse. He has all 4 wheels spinning, and pops it out. Pulls it out on the road, parks it. And we're like, wow. Hey, Ken, you were right. And I'm watching this. And by the way, I've got photographs to prove this. So I wouldn't expect you to believe it without the photographs. We're all kind of like, wow, what do we do now? And I go, well, we should just pull it to the side of the road, just park it and leave it. The guy's probably gonna come back to see if someone can help get it out. It's out now, right? So we put everything back exactly as we found it, even unlocking the front hubs. And we even go so far as to reconnect or disconnect the coil, like that. And we get back on our bikes and we ride back into town. Copper Harbor's a really small town. There's one main street, a couple other buildings this way, but we were eating lunch at a place called the Mariner North. And it's one of the 2 or 3 big establishments in town that hires local people. And we're sitting at the big table, all of us, big dining room table, eating. Waitress comes by. And I look at her and I go, hey, I got a question for you. I go, there's a turquoise Jeep I've seen around town. She goes, why do you ask about that? I go, well, do you know who owns it? She goes, yeah. I go, who? And she goes, my brother. And I go, really? And she goes, do you know where it is? And I go, maybe. Why? And she goes, he came home last night, but he didn't have the Jeep. And I go, I wonder why. And she goes, I don't know. Do you? And I go, well, it depends. I go, where is he right now? And she goes, well, he works at the store at the other end of town, about 100 yards down. And I go, really? I go, do you know when he works next? She goes, he's working there right now. So we all finished our food. We walk over there and we're like, what do we tell this guy? And I go, think of it this way. He probably couldn't have gotten it out by himself, right? We got it out of the ditch for him. That's got to be something he should be thankful for, right? And we're having this heated debate because some people are arguing that we shouldn't tell him anything. Some people are like we should make up an excuse. I go, no. We walk in, I go, excuse me. I go, are you the guy with the turquoise Jeep? And he goes, yeah. And I go, did you stick it in a ditch last night? And he looks at me and he goes, why? Did you see it? I go, yeah. I go, we were just riding by and we saw it down in the ditch. I go, we stopped because we want to make sure you weren't hurt because we saw the windshield was out. And he goes, yeah, I rolled it and went into the ditch. And I go, we saw the tow strap in the back. So we just figured, what the heck? 5 of us in a tow strap, we can get that out of there. I go, so we just hooked the tow strap and yanked it out. And he goes, no way. And I go, yeah, go look. And he's looking at me, he goes, are you serious? I go, yeah. And he goes, so right now it's out. I go, yeah. I go, we pulled it out, pushed it over to the side of the road, and we left it exactly as you put it in the ditch. It's there right now. And he goes, I had just been calling around to people who had tow trucks. The nearest town is Calumet, which is about a half hour away. He goes, some of the quotes I was getting were insane for them to send a tow truck up because you just saved me a bunch of money. And I go, dude, you're welcome. I go, we were happy to do it. And he goes, and you did that with a tow strap? And I go, yeah, we did. So here's the thing. It's been over 10 years. I don't think any laws are broken, but the question is whether or not it's unethical to not give a completely historically accurate account of what happened. But I like to think, in the grand scheme of things, everyone had their heart in the right place. And at the end of the day, he got off better, right? He was lucky to walk away from that accident. So the one thing I never asked him was whether or not alcohol was involved, because this is so far out in the middle of nowhere on a logging trail. I don't even know if the police patrol that or not. But the guy had actually rolled the Jeep, gotten out of it, pulled the coil wire off, and then walked several miles back into town. So, he had a really bad night. I figure at the very least we saved him a couple $100.